we all just at a point in our lives now where we all acknowledge that we had not like other girls phase? It's rather interesting to have gone from watching I'm Not Like the Other Girls be the phenomenon that it was on the internet to it then becoming the meme that it did. Like, I was in the trenches of Tumblr and YouTube and Facebook and all that in 2012 whenever this meme was ripe and people were saying it being serious. Like, they were seriously saying, I'm not like the other girls, and they usually didn't get ridiculed for it at the time. And then slowly watching it progress from that to people realizing, why does it matter? Who cares? Like, it's not a bad thing to be like the other girls. Where did this culture come from that it was desired to, like, be different from other women and stand out in a way that's like, I'm not girly, so I'm better. And this is coming from someone who had a not like other girls phase. My not like other girls phase was very bad, like, it was really bad. And it kind of comes with the culture that you grow up around and the way that everyone around you treats you because you may be a little bit different. And I only mean a little bit different because the culture that was surrounding me that made me think I'm not like the other girls, I'm better than all that, was because of very small things in my life that really didn't matter and actually were quite, they weren't like boy exclusive things that made me think I'm not like the other girls. For example, growing up, I started to read a lot in high school. And when I started to read a lot in high school, I got praised for it. I got told, you are so unique because no one else is reading in your class besides my friend Haley. But they were like, no one else is such a great reader as you. And you read all the time and you're so different from everyone else because everyone else spends time on their phone and wastes away on the internet and things like that. And being praised in that way kind of encourages you to keep going and make you, inflates your ego and makes you think, yeah, I am better because I read. In similar way to Not Like Other Girls, that's how reading culture also is quite toxic at times because a lot of readers think that they are ultimately superior to other people because they read. And that's just not true. Yeah, you may know certain things from stories and be a bit more learned, I guess, but there are other ways to learn things. It's not always about reading. That, like, it doesn't make you better than anyone else, but because the way people react to you, it makes you feel like you are better than everyone else. And it's a very similar thing that kind of, I think, raises the Not Like Other Girls phenomenon. Because even though it is still a meme, there are definitely still people who think that they're better because they're not like the other girls, although they're not as, I'm not like the other girls, because obviously it's become a meme. But I would definitely believe that there are people who still think that there's a superiority to not liking stereotypical feminine things. Because that's where it came from. It came from looking down on stereotypically feminine things like pink, like makeup, like dolls, Bratz, Barbie, all of those things. There was a superiority complex with people who thought that they were different from that and thought that I'm not like those girls. And it's very misogynistic, the entire thing. It's very icky because it always seems to be vying for the attention of somebody else, usually a man. I'm not making a statement of like holy, but like girls would be like to other boys, I'm not like the other girls, I'm like you guys, I'm manly and I eat Cheetos and I don't wear makeup and I'm just like one of the guys. And yes, there are people out there that exist, of course there were. I went through a tomboy phase as well. But that doesn't mean that you're any better or worse. And I don't think I think we should definitely get out of the habit, because it's still a very prevalent habit now of having to step and put down other women in order to boost yourself up just to get the attention of other people, particularly boys and men. This is not to say all girls who don't like stereotypical feminine things are going through a phase. God, no, I don't mean that. I only say that I went through a tomboy phase because I kind of grew out of it. I'm wearing my Barbie core today just because I felt that it really fit the video. I'm even wearing a pink skirt, but you can't see it. But I'm very Barbie core today just to prove a point that I'm very much girly as well. As some days I do want to just sit in my pajamas all day, and I may seem stereotypically not like the other girls, because believe it or not, people are complex. Not everything in your life is cut and dry. One day I'll be like this, next day I won't give a shit about how I look and I just can't be bothered, and I'll probably stay in bed all day, and that's fine. There are people who are going to also be on the other side of they're not into feminine things, and that's fine. The only thing that I don't like is that I don't see people who are tomboys or not into girly things. Girly, I mean, I say girly, it's the only way I can think of sort of getting my point across. Boys can like Pink and Barbie too. Obviously the doll collectors I follow on YouTube are all men as well, so like, it's not to make a statement of this is for girls, it's just more because it's easier to separate from the two sort of people that I'm talking about. There seems to be a viewpoint that's very cut and dry. Either you're girly or you're boyish, and you're a tomboy, and there's no in between, and that's the way it has to be. And that's just not true. But people look down on women who act like women, if that makes sense. Definitely in internet culture, Tumblr was terrible for it when I was growing up, and because of that, because I was raised around people who thought, wow, she's so different, she wears trousers instead of skirts, she doesn't want to look like other girls and she wants to look pretty, it kind of made me act that way as well. Like, I'm not blaming other people, I was totally at fault too. I had my prejudices. I liked being told that I wasn't like the other girls, and then I would go on to act like I wasn't like the other girls as well. And really, it all comes from a place of insecurity, because when I was in that phase in high school, I was overweight, I was ugly, my eczema was really bad, so I couldn't wear makeup. And I can safely say, as an adult now, if I had been thinner, if I had not had a skin condition that made me not able to wear makeup, if I had been more comfortable in my body and who I was, I probably would have been stereotypically girly, but I used this whole I'm different and I'm not like other girls to shield myself from the fact that I was jealous of the girls who could do that and were comfortable in themselves and were able to wear makeup and be pretty. Because I absolutely would have been doing the exact same thing if I had been comfortable in who I was at the time that I went through my not like other girls phase. And I think that speaks volumes. I think it speaks volumes that most of this comes from a place of insecurity and a place of looking down upon things that are seen as stereotypically feminine. Because makeup doesn't make you dumb, pink doesn't make you dumb, but there was always a culture surrounding it by thinking if you wear makeup then you can't read books. That was one of the things that the bookish people were very bad for. There's like this drawing I have in my head, I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but like a woman who's like tanned and in heels and stereotypically blonde and pink and Barbie core, and she picks up a book and reads it, and then all of a sudden she's turned into this mousy girl with like glasses. Thankfully someone did an art like thing where they made those two different girlfriends, which I thought was very nice. That seems to be what people do now to kind of make fun of those stupid arts, because people who are blonde and wear makeup can read. And the funny thing is, even the people who say that they're not like other girls, they are exactly like the other girls. It's the same people who say normal people scare me. You are normal. Everyone is normal, because everyone has their own definition of what normal is. You think that you're not being normal makes you different, but really how you get on from behave day-to-day life, that is your normal. And it's the exact same with girls who say they're not like the other girls, and it was the exact same way with me, because I still had desires to be pretty and be like those other girls when I was growing up. Like I say, it was jealousy. It was being upset with who I was and how I felt about myself that made me do and act this way towards other women who could do that and could be this way. And not everyone is like that. Like I say, there are girls out there who aren't into feminine things, but as long as they're not looking down on other women who like pink and like Barbie and like wearing makeup every day and like doing their hair, as long as they don't look down on them for that, then fine, go ahead. Nothing wrong with it. But I find the majority of the time people are a big complex gumbo mix of both. One day you're one thing, next day you're the other. It all depends on how you feel. Nobody is all one thing. It's not feasible, it's not possible. It would make you have a very 2D personality as well. And I've started trying to embrace the fact that I am like the other girls. And I've been doing this for years now. This isn't a new thing for me. I am exactly like the other girls. And it used to be where you would say that and people would act like you just insulted yourself. And it's no. There's nothing wrong with being a girl or a woman. Funnily enough, I very much was a girly girl as a kid. Like, I wore dresses, I liked dolls. Yeah, I watched Doctor Who, which growing up, even though it is very much a gender neutral program, where I grew up, people treated it like a boy show. I was very much it was very much going into being a teenager where all of a sudden this culture kind of developed around me where it was just like, oh, you're so different. You don't wear makeup and you don't do your hair and you don't care how you show up to school. Yeah, I didn't do my hair and I looked like I'd been dragged through a hedge. Someone needed to stop me. I should have had my head shaved. One night in the dark when I didn't know, I should have woken up bald because I wasn't looking after myself. It wasn't something to be admired. I wasn't looking after myself. There's a big difference in those things. Might have been a cry for help. I don't know, really. And I grabbed hold of that because I thought, yeah, this isn't me mentally ill. This isn't me not looking after myself. This is just me being not like the other girls and being special for that. And it's like, yikes. Like, big yikes. The funny thing is that every human being is unique. And the funny thing about every human being being unique, it also means that we're all the same. Because we're all unique, if that makes sense. There's nobody who is going to be exactly the same as somebody else. So there's no this is all how girls should be, and this is all how boys should be, and gender roles are just weird. Things that are considered stereotypically girly and stereotypically boyish, it's really weird and really, like, we are getting past it. Thank God we are getting past it. I'm glad that we're past that era where we're, like, looking down on women for being pink and wearing pink and makeup and doing their hair and, like, liking Pretty Little Liars and The Real Housewives and stuff like that. Yeah, I kind of look down on people who like The Real Housewives because I don't know how people can find enjoyment in watching those bitches complain about being rich. But that's just me. That's an opinion. And as long as your opinion isn't being an asshole, then you're entitled to have it. Even your opinions that entitle you, even your opinions that make you an asshole, you're entitled to have them, but I can still call you an asshole for being an asshole. And everyone who claimed not to be like the other girls was or is an asshole. I know. I was one of them. So, I've been embracing my girliness these past few years. I've been wearing makeup. I've been making an effort trying to look nice when I go out. Whenever I cut my hair in 2015, all of a sudden I started looking like I was looking after myself because I was able to manage the hair on my head. You know, I started looking more put together. I started looking like I was putting effort into my appearance. And I started embracing my love of Barbie and embracing my love of pink and not feeling like I'm lesser for that, because it was very much a kind of feeling like if I do this, I feel lesser and I feel stupid. And it's very much from a culture of anything feminine is lesser, which is very, very stupid to say out loud because it seems like a very stupid opinion to have. But shockingly, there are still people who have this opinion. There's a reason that people like Andrew Tate exist, because somebody has let them have these opinions without kind of, I don't know, monitoring them. You can't educate people like that though. So I'm not sure what to do. He's better off in prison, to be honest. And I feel like I need to clarify as well, just because I say like wearing makeup and putting effort into my appearance, that's not necessarily feminine, pinky stuff as well. It's just that they're just the aspects of typically feminine things that get looked down upon. Obviously, tomboys can look after their appearance, men look after their appearance, although men who do skincare and stuff like that, I find they are more likely to be made fun of because that is seen as a typically feminine thing to do, even though we all have skin. We all have skin to look after. It's not an exclusively woman thing to want your skin to be alright. I just mean that they're the particular aspects of womanhood that usually get put down Even though, like I say, we all have skin, we all like to look nice, we all like to kind of have moments where we feel put together and well groomed and pretty. And that's okay. And it's also okay to not want that either. I would say the people who told me that I was not like the other girls and that I was different in high school probably made fun of me behind my back for being ungroomed and unwashed and not wearing makeup. So even the people who tell you that you're not like the other girls, they probably are just being assholes as well, because there's no compliment to it, particularly when it's other girls. I'm not saying that this is men doing this, although men are perpetrators of it. It is very commonly other women trying to put down other women, because the women who feel like they're not like other girls and that they're different, they'll be the ones to then put down the ones who they view as like the blonde bitches who don't read and are stupid, even though there's no way for them to know what those women are like. They just judge them from their appearance. And nothing winds me up more than women putting down other women, because why are you doing this? We all got the same struggles. Yeah, different aspects of struggles, but I'm talking about the womanhood struggles. We've all got, like, I was going to say we all got uteruses, we don't, but I was going to say we're all women. We all suffer the same things. Like, we all suffer from sexism. And the stuff that men usually say that they suffer from sexism for usually still come from misogyny, because they're seen as feminine things. But that's a topic that's way too deep for me to get into at the minute. But like I say, it's in the similar vein of the skincare thing. If a man is seen doing something that is considered feminine, then they're suddenly a woman, and they're too feminine and girly just because, again, they want their skin to look alright. Patrick Bateman did skincare. Isn't he what all the alpha males like to, like, compare themselves to? Patrick Bateman. He did skincare. Isn't that his whole thing? He's on the front cover of his movie poster with that eye thing on. But no, that's different somehow. But this is basically me just making a video saying out my thoughts on the whole not like other girls thing, because I was definitely a part of it growing up. I was definitely it was definitely kind of fostered by the people around me, because they used to kind of praise me for it. And in the exact same way they praised me for being a reader, as if like that made me a special little bean and everyone else was just stupid because they didn't read. And it kind of stokes your ego, and you start going like, yeah, I am different, I read. I'm not like the people who watch the movies. I read the books, okay? And it's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but making that your entire personality is kind of sad. Pathetic, really. You know? Like, if you're just basing your whole personality around the fact that you read, or that you're not like the other girls, you're one of the guys, then grow up. Develop more hobbies. Make more to do with your personality than that, please. Develop yourself a bit. Oh, I'm getting flashbacks to that girl on TikTok who was even keeping reading. I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about, but the girl who was just like, if you don't read classics, you're not reading properly. Oh my god, just be happy that people are reading books, alright? Fuck. Everyone has something to friggin' complain about that other people do. Focus on your own life. And don't judge others. Okay? I am exactly like the other girls. And I wear pink, and I like Doctor Who, and some days I'm in my pajamas, other days I'm looking nice, some days I wear makeup. I've started collecting dolls, and I can't wait to see the Barbie movie. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a big, complex ball of different hobbies and aspects of my life, and I cannot be defined by one thing, because that is impossible. So, food for thought. Just something to think about. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't do any of that if you don't want to. I don't want you there if you don't want to be there. Check out my book. Again, only if you want to. Don't do it if you don't want to. The link's in the description below. It's an Amazon exclusive. If you have Kindle Unlimited, then it's free. If I can tempt you. Again, if you don't want to, just leave it. I don't want you there if you don't want to be there. And remember, we are all complex human beings, and that is beautiful. But if you put down other women because they like stereotypically feminine things, or even if you put down men because they fucking do skincare or like to look after themselves or anything like that, then... Or if they wear pink. Pink is an amazing colour. That's your remember for this video. Pink is great. Alright? And if you don't like it, that's fine, but don't put down other people for enjoying it because it's a colour. Wise up, okay?